Yeah, you know what? Sometimes in the face of adversity and difficult result last week, it can sharpen people's focus and attitude, and it's been a terrific week. Guys have been very sharp, plenty of energy, plenty of intensity, and I think, you know, looking at what we're achieving in this first part of the week, good attitude working towards the weekend.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to open the floor for questions. We'll kick it over. You've been right?
Yeah. Gary, kind of just looking back at the LA game, and I know, maybe the whole season you've talked about kind of some of the defending and your frustrations with it. Have you had a chance to kind of maybe assess what you think went wrong in LA, and how do you handle it going forward?
Yeah, I think that we can, for sure. When we came back in again on Tuesday after, you know, long flight, I think we turned up at about 6 in the morning on the Sunday. So the first day back was Tuesday. We've worked through, you know, there's a debrief. There's a post-mortem on the game. And, you know, there's a lot of things that came out of that. What we know is it's rarely happened to this group, but on the day, we fell foul of a number of different areas that were not good for the group. We started poorly. Certainly were unable to contain a very lively and positive LAFC group. Never easy there. They said, once you get behind, and it's the first time we've been behind now, you know, you feel the energy in the crowd, and it's a tight ground. You know, they're well and truly behind them, and I think they took advantage of that, and they took advantage of us. And as I said, it's rarely happened. You know, some of my thoughts as I came out of the game, you know, unfortunately we've been unable on many occasions to field what I would class as, you know, a fluid backline, a backline that have worked together regularly. We've not been able to put out the same group, the same relationships. We've of course had a couple of injuries at any given point in time, and I think that does play into it. I'm not making that as an excuse as to what happened, but it certainly plays into the fact that there were some breakdowns in some of the work that went on. But, you know, make no mistake, we're working hard to put that right. I think the foundation of the group has always been the strength of the group, and this weekend against a very good side, you know, we're going to try and make sure that, if nothing else, we're back to some of that. What we would class as maybe Nashville defending, and you know, a little bit more stability in the group, I think, is more important.
Gary, you already stated that this is a very strong team that you're going to face this weekend. There is no break in the MLS anyways. I mean, the weakest team could be one that give you the heck of a game anyway.
Yeah.
But after looking at what happened with Miami, the very good game that the team plays here, what happened in LA, and Columbus coming up, what are the chances again for the team? I mean, any game is going to renew hope of doing better, and why not beat any team, right?
Well, I think what has been proven over the early part of the season, you know, Champions Cup as well, when we've run into elite teams, and the elite teams, the teams that are really stretching out and you know, pushing the boundaries in terms of budgets and recruitment, LAFC and Miami, you would have to say, are in that group. Away from home, we've not started well against them teams. Both of those teams have taken advantage in the early 15 or 20 minutes and put themselves in a good position. If you look at the elite team that we've played against here, which was Miami, I think we put on a very good show here. We started well, we got in front, we put ourselves in a good position, and I thought the game in general was an excellent game. You know, both teams played some terrific football. There were chances either end, to be fair. Yes, I would question the fact that we should have seen the game out, but the simple point is, at home, we've seen some really decent performances. In fact, improved performances as the season has gone on. The last outing against Charlotte, I would say likewise. I thought it was a very competitive game. There were still good opportunities. We put ourselves in a good position, and we saw the game out. So I don't see that there will be any difficulty in getting the group up for this game in a positive and intense position. I think what the game will boil down to is, can we take advantage of the moments that we get? And of course, can we restrict and disrupt what are a very, very good side? They are an elite side. They've proven that. It will be a really good opportunity for us to draw a line in the sand again and put what happened last week behind us. So there's many, many aspects of this game that I think we're looking at in a far more positive fashion than we are in a negative one, that is for sure.
Jacob.
Yeah. Gary, the Crew are the first team that you'll have played this season that also in MLS that also competed in the Champions Cup. I guess obviously not quite as many games as you played as in say the first round bye. I guess does that maybe temper some of the maybe the disadvantage you were put at just with having such a condensed schedule in the first few weeks of the season?
You're talking about us or them?
Talking about you guys for you guys.
No, look, I don't see, certainly from our point of view, we'll get the strongest group we can out there to win the game. That is our main focus now. For them, I can't comment on that. I don't know what Wilfred will do with his group. They play Tigres on Tuesday, but having seen what he's done in the past, and again, I don't know the full health of his group after last weekend, but the Crew are in a good spot. I think they look at their roster and say, you know what, we won MLS Cup last year. Part of our process is the Shield and MLS Cup. They'll be looking on all fronts here. Champions Cup, they'll believe that they can certainly do well in every single competition they're in, and why would you not? They're a talented group. If I look back at last year, we played Columbus here, and anyone that was at the game, I think Yeboah scored an absolute screamer in the first 2 or 3 minutes. The game was a very, very tight one. It was a very competitive one, and we did an excellent job of disrupting a very similar group. We won the game 3-1. We scored 2 set pieces. There are vulnerabilities in their group, and there are flaws in their group, like any team. The difficulty with this group is exploiting them, because they're a good side. But make no mistake, they still have flaws.
Yeah, Gary, you mentioned kind of some of the absences you've had to deal with. Obviously, Walker and Lucas missed last week. And then Randall, I think initially you said 4 to 6 weeks, and if my math's right, we're around 6 weeks. Do you just have an update with those guys?
So Walker's progressing. He will not be available for this weekend, but I'm being told by the medical group that he is making good strides. I would think in a really fortunate world he might be available for Philadelphia in some capacity, but I'm certainly not going to force the issue on that, so we'll see how the next 10 days go. Randall is out on the field and he's doing some technical work. He will not be available for this weekend. I think Philadelphia will be a push, but with a bye weekend after that, I would hope that we might be in a much better position to include Randall towards Miami after that. Lucas has made some very good strides. This weekend is in the equation. We'll have to see how today and tomorrow go to make a decision on that. Again, I probably wouldn't force him into the game at the weekend, although his omission last weekend, left us in a bit of a scrambling position in the last couple of days towards the game. So it would be nice to have him back. But I think saying that he would be in the starting group might be a bit of a push for him as well, given that he's not had a lot of work. I'm trying to think outside of that, who else is on that. Is there anyone else on that injury list? Is it just them 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just those 3 guys.
All right, we're going to transition to the Zoom with Valer Shavila.
Hey Gary, you have a tough stretch coming up, of course, but I think it's kind of hard to not talk about Nashville SC without talking about Hani Mukhtar just because of his impact. Since Leagues Cup, really we haven't seen Hani Mukhtar in the way that we've seen him before. I guess, what are you and the squad doing to support him in this time, maybe get him back to the Hani Mukhtar that we know?
Yeah, really good question. I mean, you know, we have this conversation, it seems, in different aspects and perspectives. 1 minute he's scoring all the goals, and can we find anyone else? Next minute he's not, and you know, Sam has stepped up to the plate in a fashion, but I'd certainly like to see you know, other individuals that are filling that void. But the simple fact is, Hani is a catalyst for a lot of good that goes on in the team. We all know that. There's been a reasonable amount of work this week, and I'm hoping that as we take steps not only into this weekend's game but beyond, we might be able to just open up some different opportunities and areas for Hani to get into the game. But the bottom line is, as with all forwards and attacking players, the confidence that they feel out of creating and scoring is an emotion that I don't think any coach can replace. What I can certainly do is try and offer up, you know, individuals, situations, maybe even structural elements to the group that are going to offer up to Hani the opportunity to get into those moments. So, yes, I can try and achieve that, and we are working towards that. But I think that might be something that, you know, is just sparked into life by Hani hitting the back of the net and him, you know, finding a completely different level and an emotional plane that he's maybe not feeling right now. The team suffered last week. I thought he looked bright against Charlotte without actually getting on the score sheet. I see no reason why we won't see the same inspired Hani this weekend back at home. But certainly last week, along with a number of other players, you know, it was a difficult night.
It was a really cool moment. I was proud of myself because it was a hard week of practice. Just put my all into that. So to be rewarded with a goal and a win to put us in the Copa America was a really cool moment.
We're going to open the floor for questions. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like probably your best start to a season. Do you feel like that's the case? And I guess kind of with Nashville needing goals, do you feel like you've kind of stepped up and provided that way?
Yes and no. Not in the MLS. I got to get going in the MLS, but in other ways, I guess so. Like the CCC, I guess I did well there. But yeah, I guess for me personally, it's about consistency. I think that's one thing I've struggled with my whole career is just kind of staying consistent. Still trying to figure that one out. Hopefully I can get it here soon, but I'm just trying to put a lot of hard work into every practice, and hopefully that carries onto the field, but to help the team out as much as possible.
Jacob, just for the record, I waited for you a long time there at the stadium, but you guys never showed up.
I did eventually show up, yeah.
Yeah,
I couldn't pee. It was hard.
It took a long time. It was kind
Yeah.
of but anyway, I wanted to have you talk to the Nashville people about the goal, which, by the way, was an awesome strike anyways. Happy for you. What do you feel about coming back? I mean, obviously the atmosphere there is way different from what you find in the team. How do you manage to actually connect both things and then lead the excitement back and get on board with the team here?
I think it helps me, give me like a little bit of confidence, I guess. When you're with the national team, you're with new people, you're with some of the best players from Canada. Well, I guess the best players from Canada, like Alphonso Davies and all these guys, so you get to play with them. And just to see that I can kind of stick around with them helps me to bring some confidence back here and believe in myself to kind of go out and do my own thing out there. Yeah, but the excitement, I mean, it was exciting for like the couple of days there, but now I'm back here and we're full focus on Columbus now. So, yeah, we're on to the next game. So.
Jacob, I guess how much of your, I guess club form, carries over for you for going and playing with playing international, I guess, for better or for worse. I mean, if you're in good form, if you're in bad form, I guess how much of that carries over in, I guess, this season and just in the past when you've been here for Canada?
Well, I definitely think when I'm with Canada, it's from good form with Nashville, so it usually carries over. But yeah, I mean, and then the most recent times I've been with Canada, I've done well, so it's kind of been good both ways. So I haven't really experienced. Well, I have, I guess, when I'm not playing well, I don't go for Canada, but yeah, I haven't really experienced the opposite. But even when I do, if I have a bad game with Canada, it's still like I was saying earlier, like the practices that I get with those guys, it brings me more confidence and just trust in myself that I do belong here and I can do it, I guess. Yeah.
We're going to transition onto the Zoom. Valerio Shavidad.
Hey Jacob, obviously a lot of your style depends on explosive runs, a lot of times on counterattacks. When you're playing a team like Columbus coming up, their style is more keeping up with the ball and trying to do something with the ball. Do you prefer those sort of opponents because it gives you more of a sort of space maybe to run into, or does it make a difference for you when you're going into a game?
It's a good question. I guess, I don't know. I do love running behind, so I mean a team like this is helpful, but they also play a back five or back three, I guess, so it's also difficult to make those runs in behind. But yeah, I mean if they're a team that sits back a bit more every once in a while, it's also good for my game to try to figure that out. But yeah, I do prefer a team that's kind of high. They play higher up, so there's more space in behind. But that's me personally. But it's just what my strong suit is. I do need to work on playing against teams that sit in a low block to try to figure that out. But yeah.